There's not really much happening that I've seen of late. And to be fair, I've not really been using the tech that much recently. Been kind of delving into some other stuff. I figure whilst I'm here, I'll show you some new stuff on Night Cafe, namely the search, which is great news. It now, you can now search. Did I spell that right? You can now search all of your creations, and you can then, if you want to, you can show them, but all of these different parameters. You can also, let's just go here. You can also select creations. Let's do those three, and then you can add tags. Tags, so black and white faces. Too long, right? So we can't use that. So just B and W faces. There we go. Add tags. That's it. And you can do it for anything and any amount. So yeah, that's pretty useful. Let's see if I can find any. What I like about it is I can use the search, and it's pretty, it's only going to find things under my tag, under the search term, which means I can get to pretty old creations pretty quickly. Why would I want to do that, you might ask? Well, this, when was that? That was a year ago I done this. And that's pretty cool. But now I can go in, duplicate it, and use some of the new features. Let's see now. Let's bring that up a wee bit more. I'll leave that there, and I'll bring the artist up to 2. I'll get rid of that. Do I want to keep that? Yeah, let's keep it, just see what happens. Overall prompt weight, yeah, let's have that. Yeah, I'm not wanting much noise in there. As always, I'll take my 16 images and I'm going to use that. So it'll cost me a few. Yeah, 32. I don't need that. See what we get. So that's one of the main reasons I like the search field, because I can go back and find my old creations that, up until the search, now I'm not even sure how many images I've got on here at the moment. So there's 5,000. So scrolling through them all is pretty brutal. You can also explore, and these are tags. So there's now popular tags for the explore field. They've got all of these new options where you can search just for DALL-E 2 images. Well, I say DALL-E 2, I say images created with the DALL-E 2 filter, with a DALL-E 2 model. So that's pretty cool. You can go in and have a look, see what other people are up to. Some pretty nice stuff in it. It's pretty cool, I like that. Then you can click on it, have a wee look at it, put a comment in if you like it, and if they're gracious enough to leave their prompts open, you can learn for that. So that's pretty cool. We do have a search field up here. So let's have, what can we search? So let's go for soldier. Don't know why I picked soldier, see what there is. So now, as you can see, you can search the whole site as well for something specific, because one of the things I've found through speaking to quite a lot of people is loads of people have got ideas, they just don't know how to make them into a coherent post. So, if you want to do a soldier, you can come in here and there you go. If people are gracious enough to keep their prompts open, and I believe you can so here's our filters over here. I thought there was somewhere that you can search by you can search for, is it in here? Settings open, there you go. However, and then does that allow you to do this? Let's try psychedelic. I'm not really sure if that is going to allow you to see everything with prompts open, so let's have a wee look at that. Well, those prompts are open. Right, well, yeah, they're all going to be open, those ones. Let's find, that's pretty cool. Yeah, prompts are open. Prompts are open. Prompts are open. So yeah, you can use that. Basically, it's a learning tool. I would use the search in conjunction with this stuff over here. So if you only want to see DALL-E 2 ones, so there's only 2 psychedelic ones in DALL-E 2. So let's go for stable. There's 259. And you're looking for something in a modern comic vein. So see what I mean? The search field's going to give you, that's at least something to look at and compare to your own ideas, something to help you with your ideas. See, this one's, the prompt's hidden, so that's not going to help you. So yeah, I don't think that's attached to this, the open prompt filter. But you get the idea. Not everybody keeps their prompts hidden. So, yeah, what have I been doing? So yeah, wow. So as I said, I was using the search to test out some of my old prompts. This doesn't look very pretty, does it? I wonder if it's, do you know what it is? It's because I used 768. I don't think it's quite, yeah, I think it was the wrong, because they're pretty shambolic really, aren't they? They're not very good. So something's clearly happened to make them what they are, which is weird. Hi Jeffrey, how you doing? It's been a long time since I've done anything live. I've been delving into some music stuff actually, and I really haven't been hanging out in the text image spheres for a while. If you've got any questions, please ask, because I really don't have any ideas for what I'm doing tonight. I'm just messing around really. But yeah, the search feature, it's pretty cool for getting access to some of your older stuff, which is basically what I've been doing with all this stuff. This is just all old stuff, or there's a couple of stuff that people asked me some questions and I was messing around. This was creating I've been trying to create a tattoo for my girlfriend. She's got a very specific idea. I think it's one of the gods of chaos or something, and she wanted it in black and white. So I've kind of been looking at this kind of stuff. I've got some great results, but she's not picked one yet. So yeah, there isn't really that much that's different. Although no, there probably is actually. So we've now got multiple prompts. We can use lots of different prompts in stable. Now, when I first started using this a year ago, that was basically how we used coherent and artistic. So I used to go into artistic, right? Let's pick a subject, right? Let's use music as the subject. So you know, the way I used to do it back then in artistic and coherent was starting artistic with the idea. So music for the fun loving. Music in a world full of darkness. So back then we would always use multiple prompts, and what we mainly used them for back then was reinforcing. So I would probably do something like music in the dark, darkness full of music. So you're using it in a reinforcing type fashion. I done some on acid techno recently, I think, if I remember right. I'll show you in a minute. And then I would use this to get me. Let's use widescreen. And I would use this to. I would use artistic to create a start image for coherent. Now, did I do that acid techno stuff on here? Well, that's what the search feature's for, innit? Use it. Oh, that's a lot of my Alice in Wonderland stuff. But Christ, how long ago was that? 4 months ago. I can't remember that I was doing this for a specific reason. I was trying to create, so I can't remember what it was now. Yeah, I'm going to take that out of there and we'll. I don't know why I was. Oh, do you know what it was? It was. It was to try and have Alice in the middle and offering her. Well, in this case, it was LSD, but yeah, I think I've done a few of them, more than a few probably. And there's some. I was trying to create a TV303 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on acid. I can't remember what that was, but yeah, there was reasons for it. There, music in a world full of darkness. Right, okay, so now I'm going to evolve that. And what we used to do was evolve into coherent and maybe have a look at it and say, right, okay, does anything. Yeah, see, it's kind of got the music, written music kind of aspects there. It's kind of dark, and so let's try I would maybe add something like something like that, and let's pull the darkness down a bit. I would always randomize this. Overall prompt weight, yeah, 80%. Start image weight, we'll leave it at 15. Noise weight, 20 all day. And I'll just leave it like that. Yeah, I've done some mad stuff. I've got oh bugger. Oh, it still kind of found it. So yeah, I done loads of. It's all music based. What's this? These are pretty crazy. These ones. Again, they're really. When was that? 2 months ago. What was the prompt? Creating music with a synthesizer, subtractive synthesis, FM, so fantasy space, blah blah blah. Yeah. So that, oh yeah, that was a nice one. I liked that one as well. That one's wicked. But yeah, I was messing around with loads of stuff in the music sphere. Yeah, so let me just show you how I utilised the weights in the old days. So as you can see here, it's clearly picked up the darkness. The music isn't. The music aspect is there, but it's it's a hint. With the written music stuff here and the written music stuff there. And I guess if I really wanted to, I could kind of see musical notes here and stuff. So I'll wait. Coherent's going to balls it up now. Yeah, see, coherence gone too far. It's kind of ruined it. So, of course, the beauty of this now is that we have access to stable diffusion. Back then we didn't. So if I want to evolve this and I pop this to stable, I would like to think I would get more coherent, and we should be really capable of utilising the multiple prompts. Now, I always forget about this thing here. Use the default negative prompt. This here, I always forget about it. And when you're doing stuff like this, I'm not sure if it's better to have it on or turn it off. I would imagine, because it's basically shaped at things like blurring, and it's primarily shaped at rubbish anatomy. If people want to do, if they want to try and get some more coherence, and not the classic, two hands melting into one and having 9 fingers or whatever. As far as I'm aware, Jeffrey, stable diffusion, the guys that do it, that are Christ, I can't even remember their bloody name. Stability AI or whatever. Where is? I can't remember. It's been that long since I've used it, but they say 2 max. -2 or +2 is their recommended scale. I think the guys at Night Cafe have given you the option to go up as far as 3 and down as far as 3, simply because they could. I'm not sure what it does. We can check it in a minute. What am I looking for? Stable diffusion. What the hell was it called? I can't remember. What. It doesn't matter. But yeah, as far as I know, it's +-2 is within the parameters that Ray recommend. Anything above or below 2 or -2, all bets are off really. So in this case, with this, I'm not sure how much good this does. So I'm going to delete it. I don't want it in this instance, but I do want to bring more of the musical aspect of this out. So I could either just add to the prompts, or I can just add another prompt in here and go, so what is it I want to see? Musical notes, instruments and feelings. I'm big for this. I love doing this. Freaking the machine out, because it doesn't know what feelings are, but it has a try sometimes, and I'm just going to bump that up to 1.8 will do. I'll leave them on music in the dark. I'm going to bring down to 0.1. I'm going to bring that down a bit, and I'm probably going to add another one, and I'm going to use color scheme rainbow. This is another thing that I used to do a lot when I first started. I used to mess around with a juxtaposition of, because I got into this to help with mental health, and so a lot of the things I done initially were all dark stuff or stuff that troubled me or bothered me, but within kind of a couple of months of using this stuff, everywhere I looked it was dark this and dark that and despair and misery. And alright, hey, I'm all for that, that's what I'm using it for. But it started to kind of get a wee bit too much for me, because everywhere I looked I was like, right, okay, I want to get my feelings out, and sometimes my feelings aren't, little fairies dancing in a field with flowers in their hair. But I thought I can still get that out, but if I use rainbow colour scheme, it gives me this kind of really cool juxtaposition of both. So when I was looking at the art I was creating, well, firstly, it was letting me get, if I was feeling, particularly depressed or whatever it was letting me get that out. But then the feedback I got with that emotion being in rainbow colours, I don't care what, it just fucking cheered me up. It made me feel better, and that's why I love this stuff. Because it's I don't need to phone my shrink. Yeah, I love it for that. Dude, you can chat as much as you want. There's that's no issue whatsoever. Don't feel that you can't ask anything. Anybody can. I think in most of the videos I've done, I've kind of covered everything now. There isn't really much more stuff going on that I can cover, so I was kind of relying on questions, but let's see what this has done. See, it's taken this music in a world full of darkness, and it's just added wee bits of, I think that's great, that one. Let me just make my screen a bit bigger. I think that's cool. I could work with that. I could definitely work with that. Yeah, I like them all. I'm seeing a piano, a double, or maybe a singer, maybe a double bass or something over here, and like the studio light or whatever. And I don't know, is that just cool coloured? Luftwitch, hi, how you doing? Yeah, Luftdicht. I don't know. I've got no idea how to pronounce that. And thanks very much. Yeah, I got to the 1,400 subs a while back, but I can't remember. I can't even remember the last time I done a video, really. Which kind of sucks, really. I should be making more, but I kind of went over to the. I kind of got back into my music production there for a while, and I've released 3 tracks in the last couple of months. So yeah, I was kind of concentrating on that for a while, but I would love to be able to do more more of these videos. But as I say, not that I did. I kind of ran out of ideas, if I'm honest. That's kind of what happened, and nothing really changes. I know for a fact there's some really cool stuff going to happen in Night Cafe soon. I'm afraid I can't tell you any more than that, but some really cool additions are coming. So I'll definitely do a video on that stuff when it comes up. But you know, it's I don't know how many videos I've done. There's a few anyway, and it's kind of hard for me to keep coming up with ideas, really, if I'm honest. But yeah, I'm always open to try and figuring it out. I'm out of ideas for videos. You know, I've always got ideas. I've always got ideas for images. I've also been using Midjourney a lot of late. So some of the stuff I've been doing on Midjourney. I'll give you a look if I can log in. Yeah, for vids, it's I've kind of, there must be like there's hundreds of other people doing these videos now as well. There's literally thousands of them, and I guess I could. And a lot of them, I'll be honest with you, a lot of them seemed pretty crap. And I'm not saying that I'm any better, but there didn't seem to be any purpose to the videos. They weren't teaching videos as such. That I've seen loads, and I don't know how they end up getting 100,000 hits. I must be doing something wrong with the flashiness of my video covers or whatever it is. But they're doing videos on just one word prompts. Check how cool this word is, and then they do it, and they create like images of it, and they look at each image and they kind of go, yeah, that's cool. Then they type in another one word prompt, like blue sky or something or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, I don't really see the point in those. With regards to Caleb, I hope that's how you pronounce your name. When you say which you think is better, Midjourney or Night Cafe, it's a very subjective question, and it definitely means there's definitely a difference between the two in regards to the output, the way the output's shaped in the back end, how much work you want to put into it, whether you're an instant gratification kind of guy or you want to be a little bit more specific. So like today I was messing, this is Midjourney, I was messing around with some psychedelic stuff earlier, and I basically, whereas it's cool and all, these are pretty cool. This is Jeffrey. This is where I was using the acid techno stuff, look. And I was getting these. Now they are pretty awesome. They're pretty cool. But it took absolutely no effort whatsoever, apart from me coming up with that prompt. Now you could say, okay, it took you to come up with a prompt to get this, but the things that Midjourney do in the back end kind of make me, I don't know what I'm trying to say, because I can go to, right, I'll show you, right, let me, so if I go to Night Cafe, now what I'm not saying is you've got to slave for your art. I'm not saying if you don't spend hours coming up with a perfect prompt, and you've got to come up with a prompt that's right. Let me paste that in. You've got to have this, and then you've got to, and that's been tested and tested and tested, and it's almost in the right place that you are. And then you've got to come in here, and you know you've got to you've got to have, right, okay, so I want this and this because I know exactly what they're going to do. I'm not saying you have to be going into oh you've got to be spending hours and hours and hours, doing stuff like this, finding websites like this and saying, right, okay, so I've got psychedelic, acid, techno music, dancing, moving. Okay, so I've got that kind of vibe. So now I've got to go and search through literally hundreds of thousands of artists to find someone that is going to be something that I'm after. So what are we after? Let's have a look. No, not that. Not that. Let's say I want it in a cartoon kind of comic way. So I've got to find these artists. I've got to take all the time to do this. I've got to come in here. I've got to check and find out if the aesthetic. Oh no, that's not the right aesthetic. Oh, I'm not saying that just because you spent hours creating your prompt, that it's better than anything else. I'm not saying it's got to be blood, sweat and tears, but for me, what I'm finding, and I'm not talking about anybody else's art here, I'm talking about my own art, when I've got to think about it a little bit. So in here, we'll use stable. So I've now got to think about the weighting. So I'm gonna, this is what I want, but these are not part of the main. These are things I want to use to shape the overall outcome, but my main probably don't want that either. I'll do that and I'll add that into there. So if my main, what's the word? If my subject is people enjoying music, dancing, moving, festival dancers, and I would like there to be some love and peace in there, because I'm an old hippie. So I would, when I'm doing it in here, now this might just be because when I first started using this, I only had coherent and artistic. Sorry, some of you guys have written some stuff that I've completely ignored, sorry. You could start like a series where you start with an image and evolve it slowly to try and get it to be completely different over time, maybe. Luftdicht. You need to tell me how to pronounce that, or just to call you Dave or something, because I don't like embarrassing myself and upsetting people by using their names wrong. I could do that, but it would need more context, and I'll show you why in a minute. But getting back to this, I prefer having this sort of control, because I can now go, right, okay, that's my main subject, so I'm going to pop that up to 2. Do I want love and peace to be in it? Yeah, and 1's enough. Do I want it to show psychedelic, acid, techno music? Yeah, I do, and I want that to be quite prevalent as well. So I'll pop that up to about 1.5. I'll leave that because that's the kind of landscape I'm looking for. I want it to be a cinematic type deal. Now, these guys I just threw in. Now, he's horror, and I'm not really sure. I can't remember what he does, but we'll leave it there. But we'll bring it down to, I only want it to influence it a little bit. And down here, I'll go rainbow colour scheme. And I want that to be prevalent. I want it to be a rainbow colour scheme, so I'll pop that to 2. Now, and so I want it to be widescreen or landscape. I prefer widescreen for some reason. I'm just going to randomize that, and that's pure habit. That's the only reason I randomise that. And I'll pop that up to 80. And I'll use 2.1. Although, not really sure if I like 2.1. And I'll put the fast clip guidance on. And I'll just leave it at that for the time being. Wish list, stable driven videos, download images as PNGs, team up feature. I'll get back to that in a minute. Sorry, you said, yeah, I think maybe it's the thumbnails, right? I'm not sure what you meant by that. Oh, I see what you mean. They've got more flashy thumbnails, as in Midjourney compared to Night Cafe. No, it's not that. Midjourney 100% does stuff in the back end to every prompt to make it look good. Midjourney, I think they've gone down the path of even a 5-year-old kid can get great results. I think because I think that makes people people like your platform better. Now, I'm not saying that they've done it underhand or anything like that. It's just the path they've chosen, I believe. Because Night Cafe is giving me what it perceives exactly what I've asked for. Now, let's have a look and see how far. So, people enjoying music, dancing, moving, festival dancers. Now, we've got some people enjoying music, dancing. Now, there's a few strange things happening here. There's definitely I don't know if that's a thing from the past. Those types of dresses could be from I can't remember. My history's not that great, and that looks quite aged as well. But there's a cultural thing there. That looks kind of South American. There's kind of like a hippie sitting meditating and looking out. So it depends. See, it's clearly picked up the love and peace in that one, I would say. That's what that one says to me, but that's probably because I'm an old hippie. And, many, many, many times I have meditated under a tree. It's just my thing. And then this here, that could be a festival. That's definitely aiming towards a tented festival, in my opinion. That could be a festival, something like Burning Man or Boom or whatever. But it seems a bit confused, or should I say, it doesn't look to me, maybe this one, as if it has utilised all of my prompts. However, in saying that, I don't know how good Stable Diffusion is at multi-prompting, if I'm honest. And maybe I can test that by doing this and just doing it in one. But let me just read what other people are saying. Luft. Awesome. Makes my life a whole lot easier. Sorry, Jeffrey, you said, simple or fast. Which do you think works better? Wait a minute. That's better. My chat was being all weird. I could barely see it. I need it to be bigger than that. No, that's no good. Right. Cool. Got to go now. Sorry, Caleb. I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye there. Oh, you might be back. Excellent. Oh, you might be back. You might be coming back later, or you might be back now. See, I don't know. I'm losing the plot. But right. So yeah, if I put that all into one, you got to get rid of all this rubbish. So I don't know. I don't personally know how good Stable Diffusion is at multi-prompting, because in the few times that I've done it, that I've used a multi-prompt, it doesn't seem to. It it seems to try and guess, and that's why it looks like you get all those you get those, you know, partly right or partly accurate or close to the results that you were looking for. But to be honest, I've not really spent that much time, as I keep saying, because I've been, oh Christ Almighty, because I've been away for a while. I actually went to Portugal for Christmas and New Year surfing, and I just couldn't be bothered sitting in front of a computer doing this when I got back. Right, too many words, eh? Now, I wonder if my old trick still works. People enjoying music. Let me just see if it still works. It's going to be moody now, isn't it? Oh no, wait a minute, what's this? Right, yeah, I don't want any of that. Yeah, well, how did that end up in there? But anyway, you used to be able to do that if you start at the beginning and just put the double dots. Eventually, the too many words thing disappears. But that's not to say that it hasn't used all the tokens. I don't really get into all that crap. Right, so I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. So this will give us a comparison, basically, of whether or not Stable Diffusion really does well. Because, like, you know, what is that? It's a nice picture. Looks pretty cool. You know, it's got the universe there and that, but I'm not really seeing where it's picked that up from at all, really. And Stable Diffusion used to be way more accurate. Basically, I think they fucked everything up after 1.4 or 1.5. And it's probably because they removed a lot of the artists and all of that stuff. So here's the same prompt, but just in one line. It's really hooked up. It's really hooked into the dancing thing, which is great, but it's not what I was after. It really isn't what I was after. Now, I could probably work on it still. You know, I like that one. I really like that. But again, it's not what I'm after, but I'm going to evolve that. I'm going to do that. And I am going to change that, put that up to the, oh no, not that much. I'm going to put that up to there. Let's see what happens. But yeah, the thing about these different models, Stable Diffusion takes a bit of effort. Now, what did I say? Let's just for talk's sake, I want to see. Right, let's go for 1.5. So, which I'm sure you're all aware of, after 1.5, they've started removing, you know, artists' names and stuff, and Stable Diffusion doesn't seem to be as good as it was. However, I've not really spent that much time with it, to be fair. I don't know, it's still not that accurate to me. And given that if I put that same prompt into oh bugger, into Midjourney, I'll get a completely different outcome. and probably, I dare to say it, more accurate. But as I've said before, only because of what um, only because of what Midjourney does in the back end. It definitely adds stuff to your prompt to make them look better. And I've proven that because I can put a full stop into Midjourney and get a brilliant result, you know. So it's, for me, there's a bit of cheating going on. Not cheating. There's manipulation happening to my prompt, and I don't know what it is. In Midjourney, so that kind of turns me off it a wee bit. But if I want something, if I want something that's really accurate quickly, um, um, I must confess, I go to Midjourney now. If I want to really go down a rabbit hole and dive deep, I'm in Night Cafe using Stable Diffusion. So let's just what's that? Luft. I used to do a lot of dragons even without any artist names in the prompt, and it's still not nearly as good anymore. Um, are you talking about Stable Diffusion, I assume? Yeah, it's definitely changed for the worse, as I would say, but I don't know what's happened there. Hi Ty, TY, Queen Bee, I think that is. What do you use instead of Stable Diffusion? Um, well, sometimes, well, if I'm in here, I'll use DALL-E sometimes. Let's see what DALL-E does for that prompt. Oh, bugger. Right, wait a minute. I've sorted it out somewhere else. This one. And Ty, Midjourney. So let me just take that. This will be weird. This will, because well, DALL-E's just weird, isn't it? But what do you mean? That's a weird message to get. Yeah, I'll show you. So this prompt, Stable Diffusion. Now, what I like about this is the esoteric, weird results it's given me, because now I can pick one of them and really dive deep and get some mental results. The same prompt in Midjourney. So I just done it a second ago. Remember what the prompt is. The prompt is people enjoying music, dancing, music festival dancers, love peace, psychedelic, acid techno music. So it's more about, it's more aimed at a festival nowadays. You know, these big electronic music festivals where everybody's smashed out their skull and, dancing crazy and all of that stuff. That's the results I was expecting. So let's see what DALL-E gave us. DALL-E's spot on. There you go. That's pretty damn close to what I'm asking for. That's what I'm envisioning in my head when I'm using that prompt. I am specifically thinking about I'm into psychedelic trance. I'm also into loads of other types of music, and I produce psytrance, techno, melodic techno, drum and bass, all that stuff. But when I use the words people enjoying music, dancing, moving, especially festival dancers, psychedelic acid techno, acid, LSD, these types of things, these are the images I expect back. That's what I'm looking at. And what did we get from Midjourney? Midjourney, same prompt. So pretty accurate to the idea I've got in my head. Very, in Midjourney, highly stylistic. If you look at this, okay, and then we go back and look at all the other stuff I've done today. It's with similar prompts. it's all pretty much the same, right? Really. You know, there's there's some subtle differences and whatnot. They're pretty cool. But that's all I used, that phrase, and it gave me that. How it got that, I've got no idea. Now, and this is what I mean by in Midjourney, they do stuff to your prompt whether you like it or not. Ty, I wouldn't say Midjourney was better. It's just different. And to kind of prove my point here of what I'm talking about, so there's another one. That to me is better than that because that's stylized. Something's happened to that in the background to make it look like that, and it's the same as what's going on down here. Look, and this is what I was getting at earlier. One of the reasons I've kind of got sick. I don't really use Midjourney for anything serious. Is this background stylizing, because everything's the same. Look, even those, even these are the same. Right, they're a bit different, but that was different prompts. Sorry if I scared anybody. Oh Christ, sorry if I scared anybody with those. And these, these are different prompts. But they're all there. Look, that's a completely different prompt, right? Look at the prompt. Art by blah 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 blah. Although the word techno's in there, deep bass. It's still music, but it's got some different stuff. But that, to me, fundamentally, is the same as that, or the same as these. Do you see what I'm getting at? They've basically taken some of the words from my prompt and stylized it. So there's nothing unique there, There's nothing unique. There's nothing, and it's not, I know how to use Midjourney, and I can prompt highly specific stuff. Let's see, these things, for instance, these are so cool. But again, I know how to do that in Midjourney. Well, there you go. That's how you do it. So I've taken, and this is why, this is what I primarily use this stuff for. This is what I was explaining earlier. When I made this, I was feeling alone and misunderstood, and I was at the time struggling with some of my mental health issues. But as I said, I liked, so that was how I was feeling. I was sitting, on my own, feeling a bit dejected and not very well mentally. And then I add my colour so that I can look at this, I can look at that and say, yeah, I was feeling like that, but doesn't that put a smile on your face? And then I can go, right, okay, there's nothing wrong with feeling like that, it's not that bad. Move on, let's go, get on with it. And I've done loads of stuff and I've done, this is the main reason I got into this stuff in the first place. It's why I've got my own Discord server for mental health with AI art. It's the reason I do this, and it's the reason I created the Discord server, to help people the same as me, where we can all just get together and do what we've got to do to make ourselves feel better sometimes. Midjourney is great for that because it's instantaneous, instant gratification. If you're feeling really shit, come in here, go into Midjourney. For instance, I use Midjourney in a private stream, and I can just come in here and I can just go, I can go feeling depressed, angry and lonely. Not sure if I will, and I do shit like this all the time. Not sure if I will sleep properly tonight. I wonder how I will feel in the morning. And then I go splatter rainbow paints. Sometimes this one works, sometimes it doesn't. Powder paint. And then that's it. So I could be sitting here feeling a wee bit dejected or a bit pissed off or whatever it might be. I can come in here, pop my prompt in, and it'll be there. It might, you know, I might have to do some stuff to it. Right, remember I said how it stylises stuff. Why is it a female? You know, there's something going on somewhere that's made it a female. Now let's, just for talk's sake, let's just do this. Oh, bugger. Cancel that. That was, I was doing some stuff for a dartboard, believe it or not. So let me just take this. So for some reason, Midjourney has attached to some of the words in here and created a female. It's probably got something to do with lonely. But let's try something. See what happens. Now, one of the great things about Midjourney is the ability to do this. Or do this. So I just hit V1. Basically means create variations. But it also allows me to add some other stuff to the text if I want. I won't do that now. How long have I been streaming for? 57 minutes, right? I'll need to knock it on the head in 3 minutes. But look, I told it to do man, and it's doing man for me. So it's done some male ones. So it picked up on that at least. This one, what did we do here? So is this the variation? No, this is the remix, that one there. So again, it's come up with something. Look at that one there. What's going on there? Oh, right, there's the face there. I couldn't see the face at first. So yeah, Midjourney's really cool. But just to prove the point that I was saying, to show you how stylized it is, I'll just put a full stop. See what happens. But these are cool. You know, they're very, very, very cool. Very, very cool. I'm not sure why it's got a coffee cup there. Not sure. That's number 3 is interesting. Number 2 is superb. I love number 2. So if I really like number 2, I can just go upscale, and it'll upscale it for me. Some of the men's ones, I'd probably run with that again, see what it comes up with. Look at this. What is that? How did that happen? What is that? What is it? Do you know what that is? That's the results I got from the full stop. So I put a full stop in and it gave me that. Aren't they fantastic? But what the hell has it got to do with anything? This is where Midjourney. I don't like that about Midjourney, because it takes away any kind of creative input. And what that does is waters down and devalues actual creativity, in my opinion. You know, because I can do this. Let's go right on the numeric keypad on the keyboard for a PC. These are the things that are round the side. So the start, right, that. So right, I'll need to use that first. Let me just delete these. Right, so if I use those and the full stop, let's see what it does with that. It will give me a fantastic, amazing looking output like that. But what good is that? I don't. Yeah, maybe this is just a personal thing. I don't know. I don't. I haven't got a problem with people, I don't have a problem with people putting a full stop and getting that in and showing it to their friends. Look what I made with AI. That's fine. I've not got a problem with that at all. And if you want to be creative with Midjourney, you can be. No, look. So, so divide times minus plus and full stop gives you that. Why? Why does it give me that? It's just, it's so it tells you a lot about what's going on in the background with Midjourney. That's why Midjourney looks better when you compare it to Night Cafe, because no matter what bullshit you put in, it will give you a great result. To me, that retracts. That's why I like Night Cafe better, because I can go into Night Cafe and I'll get what I'm looking. Don't get me wrong, I can get that here as well. Let's go for happy female dancing in a field full of strawberries, and I will put in some stuff to advance beyond this basic imagery. So I'll use some modifiers. Let's use, and the thing is, I'm not really sure how much Midjourney uses these modifiers anymore. And I'll try and I will use some of the Midjourney text stuff, the strange little modifiers they've got. What was the other one I used to like? Oh, bugger, I've forgotten now. Chaos. I'll add some chaos into the mix, just 50. Let's see what happens. Oh, I better spell dancing right. Yeah, there is some shenanigans going on, and I don't really approve, to be fair. I not that I don't approve. I would just like to know what it is, exactly what it is that they're doing to my prompt. Tie, yes, but so for instance, if I wanted to use a locally installed stable diffusion so that I can train it on my own stuff, I would have to spend £1,500 on a graphics card first, and I don't use it enough for that. I can't justify, you know, you need these tools to be able to do that. You can't just do it on any computer. So there you go. So stylized with complete and utter gibberish, a very specific prompt, and I got exactly what I was asking for. Pretty much there. So, if you know how to use it and you know how to word your stuff, your prompts, then, I could probably make this a bit different by removing the chaos. I'll probably remove Unreal Engine. See what that does to it. And I can, of course, I can mess around. I can mess around with these. See, that one there's pretty cool as well, although she's got a bit of a weird mouth. That one there's pretty cool. So I can, get variations on them. Like 4, because it's got the strawberries, I suppose. and I do quite like, oh bugger, I didn't mean to do that, I meant to go there. And yeah, it's one of the good things about Stable Diffusion is, so that's pretty cool. You know, that speaks to me a lot, that does. And I'll show you what it does. I've used the light upscale redo, I'll do the detailed upscale redo, and I'll use the remaster. And if I hit web, it'll take me to the website where I've logged in, and it'll show me it there, where I can copy the prompt, copy the full command, get the job ID, whatever. If you want to see what people are up to with Stable Diffusion, with Mid-Journey, there you go. These are just, let's see, only upscales. It's brilliant. You know, there is no other way of saying that, but how accurate. You know, look, let's have a look at this. What's the prompt? The correct spelling of Matroshka is Matroshka. Okay. And I guess that's probably, I'm wondering if that's got something to do with the Russian dolls. Yeah, it is. So there you go. So it's picked up in that. You know, it is unbelievably good. And it will be extremely accurate as well. But so is Night Cafe, and so is Stable Diffusion. You can get as accurate as you want with that as well. It just takes more time and more effort, and doesn't. You know, let's go create Stable Diffusion. Let's go. Right. I'll give it its best chance, and I'll even do 16 versions of it, and I'll put it on the best one, and I'll give it clip guidance. What do you reckon's going to happen here? It's going to be what it should be. But yeah, Midjourney's supremely cool, and it's even got, like, if I go in, so let's see what we've done. Right, so we've got all of this stuff. So if I take this, if I take that again, and then go into my Midjourney settings and change it to Niji mode, which is manga. Oh, let's see what happens this time. It's in Niji mode. I'll take the chaos out. So it's now creating it in that mode. See what it does. But yeah, there you go. You know, it's kind of yeah, okay, yeah, I'd probably need to make, oh, what is that one? That's the remaster. Upbeat test creative. That's not it. There's the, yeah, you're probably not going to see the kind of manga stuff here. Oh no, what one is that? Yeah, I think that. Oh no, there it's there. Yeah, it's Niji. So it's, you're not seeing it really. It's probably because the subject matter's too far away from what I'm asking it to do, but it's definitely what I asked for. But yeah, yeah, check them all out. You know, look at that. Pretty crazy, you know. Anyway, that's me for the night, guys. I'm done. I was at. This was only supposed to be a 10-minute video because these videos don't get watched by very many people because they're too bloody long. But hey, if you've got any suggestions for me, if you want me to do anything, please just reply in either the YouTube, or if you want to come and join my Discord, which is here, Mac Carter's Tea Party. If I can, oh, I can't even remember how to get an invite now. Oh, wait a minute. Right, don't know what that means. I'd have to disable that. No, all I need to do is that. If you want to come to my server and speak to me in there or ask me questions, there, use that and come in and join the server. Or, of course, I'm a moderator in Night Cafe, so you can ask me anything in there, but it doesn't have to be about Night Cafe, you know. Anyway, that's me done. Thanks very much for watching, I appreciate it. Thanks for the questions. Enjoy your Monday. Take it easy.